Let us spend a lot of time in trying to understand how R works and the basics of R programming. R works a lot as a calculator. So you can do all additions, subtractions, any mathematical calculation can be performed using R. For instance, if you have 2 plus 2 and if you want to do the addition, either you can place your mouse pointer at the start or at the end or anywhere on the line absolutely, or select that line completely and then run that particular function. You can also use a shortcut on your keyboard which is Control Enter. Right? If you use Control Enter on Windows or Command Enter on Windows, you'd be taken to the next line automatically. If you do Alt Enter as a shortcut, your mouse cursor would not move to the next line. All right. And anything which is written after hash is called as a comment. It has absolutely no effect on the output. So let me run this. So in order to run, either I can click on this run. There we go. It says 4. And before 4, you see a number 1 in the square brackets. What does that mean? This gives you the position of this particular number called 4. That would become clear if I run the second line, this function. 1:50 would print the numbers from 1 to 50 in the sequential order on the console. Once again, you can place your mouse pointer anywhere on the line absolutely. And you can either use Alt Enter. If you use Alt Enter, if you use Control Enter, your cursor would automatically move to the next line of code. Right? And look at this. This number 1, the first element of this row holds the first position. And the first element of the second row is 30th position. This would become even clearer if you try to print values in the reverse order, 50 until 1, 50:1. If you notice here, this number 50 holds the first position and the first element of the second row holds 30th position. Right? This is how you need to make sense out of that. And as any programming language goes, let us also try to print this. If you use the function print, all you would be doing is trying to replicate this onto the console. So if you print hello world, double quotes, Control Enter, you'll be able to see that on the console here. If you want to clear this console at any given point of time, you just need to press Control L, which would clear the entire console and you can start off afresh. Now let me assign the numbers 1 until 5 using this assignment operator to an object called X. Can we use any other operator here rather than less than and minus? Oh yes. You can use an equal to sign. However, this is not a best practice. Best practice is always using less than and a minus sign. So here we are trying to print the numbers 1 until 5 in a sequence, and we want to assign that to an object called X. There we go. Now if I call this X, you see those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 printed on the console. We can also use the concatenate function if you want to assign the numbers of your choice. If you feel that, hey, I do not want to assign the numbers in a sequence, then you can use this C concatenate function or combine function. And you can combine the numbers of your choice and then assign it to an object called Y. All the while, if you have been using less than and minus on your keyboard, then here is a shortcut. If you want this less than minus at one go, then you have to press Alt and minus, or it is Command and minus on Mac, right? Sorry, it is option minus on Mac. So let me write it here, if just in case someone is using Mac, then it is option key plus a minus sign would give you the assignment operator. So let me assign these numbers to an object called y. Now if I call y, you see all the values printed on the console here. Now you can do a lot of addition, subtractions, mathematical calculations on these two values x and y. So if I add x and y and then assign it to an object called a, let us see what happens. Now the result of x and y is held in this object called a. If I call a now, you have these numbers. So 1 plus 3 is 4, 2 plus 5 is 7, 3 plus 8, 11, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7. So you have these values. Here you have 5 numbers and object X also has 5 numbers. And that is why your addition has become so simple for you. However, if you try to print these numbers which are not of equal size, for example, if you print 4 to 5, 4 to 9 and assign it to an object called Z, let us see what happens. Let me call Z. There we go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 6 values, right? And now if you do X plus Z, what would happen? In X you only have 5 values, 5 elements, and in Z we have 6 elements. So how does this work? Let me do this. Though it has thrown a warning message for you, you can do this. 1 plus 4 is 5. 2 plus 7, yep. Oh, my bad. 1 plus 4 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 3 plus 6 is 9, so on and so forth. 5 plus 9, am I right or wrong? No, it's 5 plus 8, that's 13. And now what happens is, after 5 numbers here in Z are added to the 5 numbers of X, the last element of Z is added to the first element of X. So it would be 9 plus 1, which is 10. And if you have another number called 10 here, it will be 10 plus 2, 12, so on and so forth. All right. In RStudio, you can quickly look at the number of objects that you have created. So you have 4 objects, A, X, Y, and Z, which you have created. However, in R, you'll not be able to see that. RStudio is graphical user interface, hence you're able to see the output. However, on R, you'll not be able to see that. So if you want to know how many objects you have created in R, you need to run this function called ls, list of objects. And that would say that object A, X, Y, and Z are created, by you basically. And now, there is a concept of packages within R. If you want to work on XML files, you need to install this package called install.packages of XML. And let me run that. That really doesn't matter on, okay, just a moment, let me explain about this. It really doesn't matter, right? Since you're assigning values, in your own sequence, it has created a number, right? If you're printing something in a sequence, it has taken as an integer, but that really doesn't matter. Package is a collection of code or functions which people have written in the past. all you need to do is reuse that. So let me open this and try to show you XML files. This might make sense. So if I go to clinicaltrials.gov, it's coming up. And if I go to advanced search, study results, if I select studies with results, and then if I try to search, there we go. So here we have an option to download. So download all study files as XML. Okay, I think these values will not influence maybe, but I'm trying to download once again. All right, here we go. Let me unzip that. Ah, come on. Here we have. Yep, hopefully I'll be able to open that. Not sure why. Let us try Internet Explorer. Yep, this is how your XML file appears exactly, right? So you will have to write R code to be able to extract the various fields. So these are all called as your structured. I mean, if you say agency class, right? And then if you provide probably authority, source, these are all structured. Overall study, was it completed or not? When was it started? In all that. But this happens to be your unstructured data basically. Right? However, if you want to extract all this data and place it in a structured document, probably in a CSV format or in an Excel format, if you want to store this, then you need to make use of XML package. Right? It contains all the predefined code of functions which people have written in the past. You can install that, and while you install, please ensure that the package name has the right, name. That's the first thing. Second thing is, a few of the letters or alphabets within this package name would be in small, a few might be in caps. So you need to take care of that. Instead of XML in caps, if I provide XML in small, it would throw an error for me. So you should be cautious about using uppercase, lowercase, etc. Once you install the package, you cannot readily use that. In order to use it, you have to use this library of XML. If you run this, library of XML is getting loaded. There we go. There are multiple ways of installing packages. This is one way, install.packages. What if you forgot the function for installing packages? What can you do? You can go to Tools and Install Packages, and you can provide the name of the package here, and you can install. By default, install dependencies would be enabled, and you would require the dependencies to be able to perform your operations. And another way of installing is go to Packages here, click on Install. The same pop-up window would appear. Search for XML and try to install that. And once you install, you can double check here. XML. There won't be any check mark once you install. Only if you run this function library of XML, you would see that there would be a check mark here. So if I uncheck this, you have detached the package. If you want to run this function library of XML, you just do a Control Enter, and then you would see that there is a check mark placed here. Also, you can uncheck and check here itself. that would trigger the same function, library of XML. It's just giving the location, that's it, in addition to the existing functionality. If you want to know what is the function of R that you're running or using, you can just use version. It will tell you that that's the version that you're using.